Okay. Now we create the example session about it. First of all, we create the matrices 3 times 3. Okay. In order to create the matrices, we need to create the list within a list in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. This creates the 3 times 3 matrices, guys. Okay. Matrix, or we can print these terms in here to prove our case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Or we can create the matrix 3 times 1, 3 row, 1 column, 3, 2, 4. Okay. This is also a vector or the matrix. Okay. So in order to initialize an empty matrix, we need to create the result matrix in here, just like this one, and so we can perform the matrix multiplication using a for loop. Okay. For example, for I in range of 3, 0 to 2 or 1 to 3 is given in here, and also we need to initialize the sum for the current row sum 0, for j in range of 3, and row sum plus equals to the what? Matrix 3 times 3 I, and we can reach the j in this in here, and matrix 3 1 j. Okay. 3 times 3 multiplication 3 times 1 gives us a 3 times 1 vector. Okay. So after all, we need to append the row sum in here. Okay. So our results is equals to the what? The result matrix can be seen as the 20, 48, 74. Okay. Or we can print the original matrix in the right order. For example, print 3 times 3 matrix in here, just like this one, and so for row in matrix 3 times 3, and print row can return to the what? The original matrix notation in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Okay. And also can give the what? The new line here, 1 and 1, but this is right now the value of these terms because this is a vector, not a matrix. See, 2, 3, 4, what's given in here. And also we can give the what? The 3 times 3 result matrix in here. And so the result matrix and value is given by this one: 20, 48, 47, and 74. Okay. This is how we can visualize and the multiplication or the addition or subtraction operation on the what? On the matrix notation. Okay. Also we can create the what? The specific class related to these terms, but not this time. Okay. So any question? If there's no question, and so we need to continue with the tuples. Is the another class or the variable type in Python. Okay. Tuples. So see, the tuples is like list but a sequence. This is different between the definition of the list, but just like the same, but with a slice and difference. Okay. So in order to define the tuple type in here, we must use this syntax. T is equals to it's not a bracket right now, it's a parenthesis in here, and Ali and 11. Okay, this is the syntax of these terms. Okay, and so its properties are different from the list. Tuples are ordered sequence like list, but it's immutable, cannot be changed after creation. Okay, and so this, just like in C or C++, it's a constant array. Okay, but in the list we don't have the constant property, but in the tuples we have such kind of mechanism. Okay, this is ideal for fixed collections or the arrays. Okay, RGB values, records, and something like that. Okay, and this parenthesis defines these terms, and we can give the comma in order to what? In order to process with these informations. Okay, and so just remember that the immutable or immutability, you cannot add, remove, reassign the elements in the tuple in here. Okay, and so it's just kind of more friendly, in memory efficient than the list, because it cannot change in time. Okay. Now how we can prove that? In order to create the example sessions about the tuples example, we need to continue with this one. New line, new line, new line, new line, new line. Okay, so now we can define the tuples. T is equals to the 5 Yahya and 166. Okay, and so the print T, an empty space, and the type of the T. Okay, so see, this is the 5 Yahya 166, but this is a parenthesis, not a bracket right now, and so it's type in the form of the class of tuple. Okay, and so a tuple can hold the heterogeneous elements, which means that we can store the integer, string, float, and something like that. Okay, and also we can create this kind of Ayşenur. This is a string, and so this is a float, and we can give the list, even list in here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we can copy all of these terms just like this one, and so 5 Ayşenur 255 1, 2, 3 within a list, and so it's still the class tuple because it's the element is the list. Okay, or we can store any tuple within a list, 5T2, right? And so the print A 5, and this is the tuple, and the 2 is an integer, and so the return of the type of the A is a list, but can hold the what? The tuples. Okay, any question? Okay, there is no questions, and so we can continue with the reaching of the elements of the tuples. Okay, so the print T0, T1, and T2. What's the output of this code? Yes, but not is a tuple. Is it integer values? 10, 20, and 30. Okay. What about this one? T 1 to 3. Yes, Just say it, Ayşenur. What's the value of this term? What's the output? Yes, 20 and 30. What about this one, Ayşenur? 1 minus 2. What's the output of this code? See, this is an empty because it's just like the what, this one, 1 ln t minus 2, which means that ln t is a 3 and minus 2 is a 1, and 1 and 1 cannot be included in these terms in here, okay? And so it's also read-only access, and it behaves exactly like the list in here, okay? But what happens if I assign a new variable in here? What's the result of this code? Error, because just see that tuple object doesn't support item assignment. See? But if you want to create this object, the t, 1, 2, and we have the list in here, okay, 5, and so t2, 0, 1, 2, and 50, for example, or no, 6, 7, because it's a list. And so what happens if I run this code? What happened? This is an error. Tuple object doesn't support the item assignment. But if I choose to reach the tuple list element, 3 and 4, and so this list is what can be changed, and so 50, and there is no syntax error in here. But in this case, error, because it's a tuple element. But 2, 0 is not a tuple element, it's a list element. Okay? And so we can print the t just like this one. And so, no, I'm sorry. See, this nested list values is changed right now. In Turkish, bakın arkadaşlar, bir tuple'ın içinde list varsa biz bunu değiştirebiliyoruz. Çünkü tuple'ın elementi burada integer, list integer. Ama ben gidip burada listin içindeki bir element olsam bu list değişebilir. Ama listin kendisi değişemez arkadaşlar. Bunu hiç unutmayın. So we did not modify the tuple object. We modified the list object inside the tuple. Okay? So what happened if I choose to this one? The second index of the element is the list, and we can append these terms in here just like this one. And so if I choose to call the t in here, and then the 500 is added in here, okay, we can do that because it 2 is a list inside the tuple, and the list can be added and remove the element based on these terms. But this list cannot be removed in here, guys. Okay? Any question? If you don't have any question, and copy example should be given here, t is equals to the what? Open and close parentheses 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And so L is equals to the list of t. And we can print the t and L in here See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the first of one is the tuple, and the second of one is the what? Is a list. Okay? And so we can convert a tuple to the list, create a new list in here. Shallow copy of reference. And so L2 and 0, 100. See? If I run the T and L, what's the output of this code? Just remember that this is shallow copy. It's an important property for a reference, okay? What's the output of this code? In this case, both tuple and the list are updated because of shallow copy. The inner list is the same object shared by both structure, guys. This is a tricky part, but you should know that, okay? Arkadaşlar bunları ben size neden göstermiyor musunuz? Yarın öbür gün siz mülakata girdiğinizde programlama ile alakalı ya da yazılım şirketinde size böyle şeyler soracaklar. Asla böyle oturup 500 satır kod yazmanızı beklemeyecekler. Bir dili bilip bilmediğinizi direkt bu şekilde anlayabilir insanlar. O yüzden biz de hep bunlarla uğraşıyoruz aslında. Sentaksi öğrenmeye çalışıyoruz. Okay, initialization example. What happens if I choose the 100 for a tuples and so the print T empty space type T. What's the output of this code? Yeah. Ayşenur. In this case, we get the integer values. Because 100, this is simple parenthesis, but how we can define the one element with a tuple? The syntax is simple, 100 comma should be given in here. In this case, this is a tuple, okay? Not the integer one. See, 100 is a tuple. So, single element tuple syntax requires a trailing comma to this ambiguity, okay? And so, this is also one element, but if we give the comma into the parentheses, we give the specific standard definition of the what? The tuple, okay? And T, Ali. So, print T and type of T. What's the type of the Ali in here? Ali is a string. Yes, but if I put the comma in here, just like this one, what happened right now? Ali is a tuple because the comma is important to create or define the tuple elements. This is legitimate, okay? If we don't want to update variables, we can use it, the tuples, okay? And also, just remember that T is a tuple. T. This is a default constructor, okay? And so, this is also tuple. What's the output of the last code is a class of empty tuples, okay? And so this is default constructor. This is a rule for creating the empty elements in the tuple, okay? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Any question? Okay. If there's no question, and so you can copy all of these terms, and so tuple methods. Okay. So if we cannot add or remove the elements of the tuples, and so we can count it. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, and so the print a index, for example 3. Okay, and so it returns to the what? To 2. But why? Because 0 1 2, the index of 2 is pointing to 3 in here. Okay, but what about this? Print a index 100. See, x not in tuples. Okay, and so this is an error, out of range. Okay, what about this one? A is equals to the 1 1 1 2 1 3 3 3 3 4 4 4 1 5 1 2 2. Okay, and so the print a and count of, for example 2 in here, and a count 2. If I run this code, and so 4 times 2 is added in the what? In the tuple in here. Okay, any question? If you don't have any question, answer the point 10 to 2. Okay, this is what the definition of the tuple. Okay, and the type of point. Okay, so just remember the what? The unpacking. X and y, this maybe is a coordinate. Okay, point x, and so the print x and y can be written just like this one. Okay, we can unpack these two variables in here. Okay, and also we can write to these terms xx yy x and y. See, 10 and 2. Okay, and so what about this one? Unpack assigns the tuple element to variables in order, and so these types xx and yy are integer. Okay, but what about this? 10 b is equals to the 20. Okay, b a b. What is the result of the a and b right now? What's it? No, this is swapping. We don't have any loose elements in here. In C or C++, you need to create a temporary variable in order to define these terms. But in the Python, the tuple can preserve the what? The same contained values in here. This is a tuple, and so A and B can be written just like this one. Or we can define the mean and max values of these terms just like this one, and return mean L and max L. We can return it. Okay, and so T, mean and max function can be defined 32, 11, 2, 4, 4, 4, 12, and 4, 1. So what's the values of the T in here, and what's the type of T at this case? Just say it. Answer. Yes. Okay. If this is the case, just wait, guys. See, this is a tuple 11 and 444. Okay, because it returns to the what, to comma trading operator. In Turkish, arkadaşlar eğer bir yerde böyle bir virgül varsa bunların hepsi tuple deniyor. Yani bu sizin için o yüzden çok önemli bir kavram. Eğer bir yere böyle bir virgül koyarsanız bunların hepsi constant ve tuple döner. Constant dönmesi de aslında önemli bir operatördür. İlginiz olsun. Yani bu tabi detaylı bir şekilde ileriki örneklerde daha sert bir şekilde tartışacağız. Okay. Operator overloading. Anyone knows the operator overloading, guys? Anyone? Operator overloading. Yes, we can assign or give some operators a special purpose. In C++, we have this kind of overloading mechanisms in order to create your own class. For example, in C++, we don't have the complex class, but we can define by the specific purpose of these terms. We will learn about how we can induce or create the operator overloading mechanism in the Python as well. But this is an important property. I will share my YouTube channel playlist about the operator overloading or the class. You should watch it because it's a detailed information about it. And so if you watch it, and so you can understand Python easily. Okay, but in this case, what is the operator overloading? Just see that t is equals to 1 to 3. That's a tuple. Okay, that's so 2 times t times 2. This is the example of the operator overloading because the tuple is a type with just like the list or the length. You cannot do that the t times 2 in here because it's not an integer, it's not a float. And so this must be a to what? A special operator, or it calls the specific function in here. Otherwise, the Python cannot know that. Or we cannot add the t plus 1, 2, 3. This is just kind of example of the operator overloading in here. Concatenation of the reference. Okay? And so, in this case, we have the specific operators in here, just like this one. T times at 1, 2, 3. These are the identicals in here. This plus converted into the what? Into this function with the reference values of the t. This is an advanced topic, but we will talk about it. Okay? So, this is an operator overloading example. It's a Mehmet 2 and 54. For example, k is equals to the t whole the elements. Okay? And so, what is the result of this code? T and k. See, Mehmet 2, 54, Mehmet 2, 54. Okay? But what is the address values of these terms in here? Anyone knows that? Anyone? No, because the tuple is not changing the elements of this term. This is an assignment operator, not is a creation one. And so these are the same address. The slicing of the tuple with this operator double dot can reach the whole elements in here may return the same object. Optimization, guys, this is code in Python, but the tuples are immutable, but the same address can happen in here just like this one. Okay, and also we can use the in keyword in here. For example, 10 in t. This returns the true or false in here. False. Or Mehmet can be called in here, it's true, and print 12 not in t, This gives us the true values in here. The membership test on tuples use equality per element. Okay? Any question? Okay. If there are no questions, and so we will give a 15 times break because we will continue with the dictionary operators, guys.